Hey y'all, today we're talking about these boots, specifically what they were like online versus in person. I think that we all like to shop online. Sometimes we cannot buy things in person. We are looking for impressions of what the real item is like, and they can be hard to find. So, when I was looking for these boots, uh, this is what the actual picture looked like on the website of these Wesco Boss 7500 engineer boots. Just kind of a sad picture, honestly. They have this too bright orange glow. They are almost plastic looking in a way. This is something that you get used to when looking at items that are meant to be broken in. You know there's more there, but it's hard to know where it's going to go just based off of the pictures. And I did find this really cool picture from Ship John on their Instagram of the Wesco Ball 7500. They look like this, which honestly was maybe too much use for me to understand what it would look like through my kind of typical wear. I mean, this boot looks very cool. Don't get me wrong. This is a fantastic kind of well-worn boot, which is what you would expect out of the Ship John brand experience, so to speak. They wear their stuff really hard and then post about it. So what about me as someone that's not wearing my engineer boots for heavy labor, but I will be wearing them in a small selection of boots with a heavy usage per boot in that rotation? Well, I've had my boots for almost 3 years. I got them for Christmas for myself in December of 20. This is what they look like. We're going to get a little closer. And we're going to switch to some cut shots of this. I mean, really, the boots have taken on a much more brown tones than they originally had. You can see there's some really nice wear that has kind of started to form these boots from a straight, kind of unblemished shaft into it's got some bend to it, some creases forming up on the shaft. From wearing my darker denim and indigo denim transferring onto this shaft, there's a lot of that kind of indigo and other dye transfer and just kind of wear marks on those creases that have formed. It gives it a nicely worn look. And then moving on to the kind of vamp and the heel, this is really where a lot of the heaviest wear is really shown up in these boots. You can see a lot of those scuff marks forming, especially on the heel, just from just walking around and wearing them. You know, this is an area that gets bumped and hit a lot. Kind of interestingly, the wear is not the same on each boot, which you would expect. We use our feet differently, but it is kind of cool to see that pattern of wear having its impact expressed over time in the boot. You can also tell, for example, my right foot is bigger than my left foot, and so the right foot has formed more creases on top of the vamp there, and I also drive a car, right? And so my foot flexing between the pedals has developed a different kind of pattern of wear for that right boot versus the left boot. The toe on this boot has seen a lot of exposure to bumps and other things. So, you get these kind of even lines, I feel like, on the heel. But then when you look at the actual toe of the boot, especially the left boot, for whatever reason, I must be bumping into stuff. I don't exactly know why it is that it is formed this way, but it has. And it's kind of just got a really attractive wear, patina, signs of use and forming to my foot that have developed over time, and really kind of this is what you hope for when you buy a boot like the Boss. This is a lighter leather. You expect to see the wear more easily than a darker leather or a black leather in particular, and it's really showing those marks. One kind of interesting point of wear is where the buckle impacts the shaft of the boot really has this very dark kind of marking there that has developed over time. Just that brass rubbing against the leather has really made itself known there. And then say we look down at the soles, they've also been through their bit. They're not so even and clean looking. The heels, you can tell that I'm a heel striker, and that wear is especially more noticeable on the left boot. Again, one of those just pattern differences that shows itself over time. So I would like to mention from a care standpoint, these boots have been in the rain a few times. Not something I planned on. I didn't go out in a super thunderstorm wearing these as rain boots, but I was wearing them and they got wet. I will say it did help with the break-in process, which took me a little bit longer with these boots than it did with some of my others. I will also say I have never conditioned these boots. I brush them regularly. I have shoe trees in them, but I've never conditioned them. This boot is, 2.5 going on 3 years of just wear with no serious care outside of the shoe tree and the brushing, and really no special treatment to speak of. I just wore them like the shoes that I'd be wearing. They've never gotten in snow or salt. I've never been in heavy duty mud or muck with these boots. They have gotten dirty walking on the streets and through parking lots and gravel lots and other kinds of urban environments. So just a little background on the type of wear and care that got these boots looking like they are today. So if you're looking at getting a pair of the Boss, my boots are in the middle of the spectrum from the completely untouched blank canvas mode that you see on the internet pictures versus a boot like the one that Ship John has posted, which he has really worn that boot hard, doing hard things and perhaps hiking with it. I don't know, that guy wears his boots very hard. So this is 2 to 3 years of moderate use in rotation with 2 other boots really that got a lot of use. My 2 pairs of white semi-dress. This is kind of what you can expect from a more typical dude in the city. What can I say? I'm talking to people for my work. I'm not lifting heavy things, getting sawdust all over my clothes, that kind of stuff. Let me know what you think about the way that my boots have aged. I think they've aged beautifully, and this is really kind of one of the joys of having a pair of boots like this, is that they just really look more and more fantastic with age. And hit me up with any kind of questions you have about how I've worn or used my boots, and I'll help you out with some answers.